Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. Happy Sunday. I'm going to be going to church today, so I got up early and I'm going to do this video and go to church. I'm going to do both things. Overachiever today. I'm really happy. I'm in the sweet spot of spring for me. So we're in the middle of spring, but my allergies are at bay. So I'm kind of in that sweet spot. And I potted my aloe. And look how cute that is. It's a casserole dish because they need shallow pots. And so I just found this casserole dish and drilled a hole in the bottom. And it was so cool planting it because just smelling the soil and feeling it in my hands, it was like a magical experience. I kept smelling it. It was reminding me of when I was younger. I worked in a meat department with my dad because we had a family grocery business, and my job in the family business was working in the meat department. And then, of course, that was just usually the first few hours of the morning. And then my dad would leave. I would have to clean the whole thing. That was like my main job. And then I would do the cashier and stuff like that. But so I worked side by side with him. So he would cut the big slabs of meat and I would wrap them essentially. And then when he was out of town, it was up to me to run it and do all that. And so I had to do that based on just watching him, how he did it. Cause he never really was one to take you under his wing and show you like, okay, this is how you cut it. This is how you do that. I just learned from watching him. So he would go out of town and I would be in charge of it and I'd do the best I could and it would survive. But what I wanted to get at with that is, so I would take those big slabs of beef and I would just put it on the counter and like trim it and just smell it, just take it all up to my face and just, and it was the best smell to me. Imagine me now that's a vegan. I can still remember it had like a really nice salty quality. But yeah, that smell of that dirt, just the smell of dirt. I think some of the most healing things are playing in the dirt. I can say for sure sitting in the river because I've been doing that lately. I guess, or any body of water. I used to feel extremely healed after surfing. And there's something really healing about, for one thing, about the ocean, but then you also have to learn to not panic. So you're getting a lot of breath work in. I know one time, this was in Newport, California. There's a surf spot there called the Wedge, and I got held under the water. I knew it was going to happen because I was being arrogant, we'll say, with the surfing, where I was trying to catch waves without actually paddling for them. So I was just trying to position myself and, not really work for it. So of course I got caught in the falls of a wave, and I knew as soon as it was happening that I was going to be underwater for a while. So I just went completely calm. It was just like the most peaceful. I can still remember it was honestly one of the most peaceful feelings I think I've ever had, because I was just like, well, I'm going to be in here for a while. And I just went round and round and round. And that kind of the crazy part about it is that when I finally was able to pop my head up, there was a guy standing just like pretty close to me because somehow our leashes had got wrapped up. So we would just look at each other and then like look at the wave and like, okay, here we go again, and be under the water again, pop up, stare at each other like, here we go again, as you're like going further and further, and trying to get our leashes untangled. And then finally there's a beach break at that wave. So there's still one more obstacle because you finally get into where you're untangled and you're almost at the beach, and then you're just like, okay, make a run for it, and you have to run as fast as you can because that water comes and pile drives you into the sand one last time. Yeah, that was fun. My roommate was watching me the whole time laughing. Okay, let's just do some yoga, some asanas. If you guys ever have like a specific asana, which is a pose, you can message me and I will set it all up in a video. I have no issues doing that. I know I'm not one to really like to get bossed around or anything or told what to do, but that would be an exception. That would be me teaching, and I love to do that. Inhale. Exhale. I was thinking about how when we're little and you get like an ouchie or you fall on your bike or something and you have your mom put a band-aid on it or kiss it, and we don't have our moms now. So my mantra is going to be inhale, exhale. I am the medicine. I am the medicine. I am the medicine. One thing, if you can't get an extreme deep breath, it is always nice if you can inhale and really connect on your out breath, like have your stomach fully expanded. But if you're in a position where you can't do that, just take a small centered breath. Just imagine being extremely like in a center point. And it can be just a small one. It's effective. Inhale, exhale. I'm really wanting to do some hip opener things. So we'll just do like some butterfly right here. Last time I was talking about names, I wanted to kind of get into that again. I've been having a really interesting thing with names because I told you guys how at that baseball game, I was talking about the name Quinn. Well, yesterday I went to this new cafe. I found this cafe. I really like it. Well, it's kind of weird because it's a gas station, but mixed in with a cafe and like an organic store all combined into one. And they do sandwiches anyway. So I went in there and I got a chai and a sandwich, and I was sitting down. They have like a little part where you can sit at the window. And before that, I had looked around the store. This is the second day in a row that I went to it. That's why I went to it the first time. I bought a couple of things, and I'm like, I'm going to come back and do this cafe part. And I was looking around the store this time. I had decided I wasn't going to buy anything in the cafe, but they had these like Palo Santo sticks. I've seen them before. I've never bought them, but I picked up the package and I was like, these are cool. I need to buy them sometime. I think I will get these sometime. It's kind of like how people sage. I do like to use sage. So I set that package back on the thing and I started eating my sandwich, and a few people came in, and then about 5 minutes later, a gal came in and she walked through the store. She walked right to that package of those incense stick things that I had picked up and put down. Picked it up. That ended up being the only thing that she bought. And she ordered a chai, which was the exact same thing I ordered. And when they called her name to get the chai, it was Andrea. Now, what in the world? What are the odds of that? I can tell you right now, that I was just trying so hard not to stare at her the whole rest of the time. I was like, is this me in a different um, dimension or something? I mean, she looked nothing like me, but she had curly hair. She at least did have dark hair. But anyway, what are the odds of that? You know, that was like a universe, a wink from the universe. I am the medicine. When I was hanging out with my family, they're predominantly Catholic, and so we do the rosary. Can you guys imagine me doing the rosary? It takes about 30 minutes. If you've never seen it done, you should look it up on YouTube. It is interesting. But usually we just do it without any background. We just go back and forth between the prayer of it. But sometimes we get lazy and we'll put on a video and just kind of go along with it. But I'll be going to a Christian church. The Catholic and Christians believe the same thing. It's just different ceremony. I love prayer. It does work. Mostly when I was younger, I prayed to God. I didn't necessarily pray very often in the name of Jesus. I do believe in Jesus. I love him very much. But I'm going to be honest, when I want there to be a little more power behind my prayer, I will say prayers to Archangel Michael, and I feel more clarity in those moments. You have to be in the right space, though. You can't. I do sometimes just haphazardly throughout the day be like, okay, like, are you there? And I'll just like act like I'm talking to them in my head. But if you really want to get into it, like, you get into your body, get relaxed. It's like a meditation is what it is. And if you really want to connect on that level, then you have to put yourself into that level too as well. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Chaturanga, inhale. Up dog. I am the medicine. I do need to do, that just reminded me of doing breath work and mantras. If you do it for 20 minutes, like, you can feel the energy come over you through your chakras. It's amazing. And I did a couple of videos on that a long time ago. I've been doing these videos like 4 months now. And when I first started, I did a couple, but they weren't loading. But when I did them, they were really powerful to me. So maybe I'll do that and just put it in like a private video since they're so boring to everybody. But what I was going to say, so getting into names, how it's interesting. Well, honestly, even fascinating, because my name's Andrea, and my mom said that she was going to call me Beatrice. Can you guys imagine me as a Beatrice? So there is a school of thought that we pick our names, and I think there is something to be said for that. I do also think that sometimes certain parents maybe aren't as intuitive and don't pick up on that, and so people want to change their name. I have a friend who recently completely changed her name, and she mentioned on Facebook that she now had a new name, and I'm like, you know what? That's totally fine, 100%. If that's what you want to be called, that's what I'm going to call you. I had a girlfriend when I was younger. I think I told you guys that had the same thing, but I had this other friend who dated a guy. Excuse me, my hair's in my face. His name was Junebug. Obviously, that wasn't his real name, but that's what he went by. And she was embarrassed to tell us. And we're like, we would call him whatever. We don't care. I don't know why she was embarrassed about that. But my nickname, and I've never told you guys this yet, growing up was Annie. That's what I went by. And so I'm sure now that you all know me as Andrea, you can't even like picture that I'd be called Annie. And that there was different times I went throughout my life where I've even gone back to that, like I did in medical at certain points go by Annie because it was easier for the patients. And a lot of people have a hard time with Andrea. And they either want to say Andrea or lots of different things, you know. But I went by Annie when I was younger, and then of course as I got older, became very insistent upon being called Andrea. And then I kind of went back and forth in adulthood. So some people call me Annie, some call me Andrea. Like my dad only calls me Annie, and my stepdad rotates between Annie and Andrea, though I haven't talked to him in a little while. But I don't care about any of it. And there's a lot of people when I went by Annie that would only call me Ann. I have a cousin that only calls me Dre Dog for some reason. He's the only one that does that. He just always calls me Dre Dog. And then I did actually date one person. Maybe he got sick of all the different nicknames that I had, so he just would call me A. Just kept it short and sweet, A. Sounds like Canadian, A. So that's my whole thing about names. So now you guys know my alias. Inhale. I am the medicine. When you guys comment if there is a certain name, a lot of times I'll ask, but I'll look at like the username and I'll go by that a lot of times. So if you have a different name you want me to call you, just let me know. I have no issues with that. I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday. Reach out to me, like, comment, and subscribe.